When you hear the opening chords of Sympathy for the Devil, it's impossible not to feel a chill. The Rolling Stones didn't just play music. They summoned something larger, darker, and often dangerous. The legend that Mick Jagger and Keith Richards sold their souls for fame is more than tabloid gossip. It's a myth deeply tied to the cultural storms of the 1960s. London, 1968. The world was on fire. Vietnam, student protests, assassinations. Amidst the chaos, the Stones released Beggar's Banquet, an album drenched in menace. Sympathy for the Devil was its crown jewel, Jagger's silky voice channeling Lucifer himself. For many fans, it wasn't just a song, it was a confession. Had the band crossed a line? The rumor spread fast. Jagger, fascinated by occult writings and surrounded by figures dabbling in mysticism, was flirting with forces best left untouched. Marianne Faithfull, his partner at the time, introduced him to books on witchcraft. Brian Jones, the band's tragic founding member, was also drawn to the darker edges of culture. To outsiders, it looked like more than teenage rebellion. And then came Altamont, December 1969. The Stones organized a free concert in California, their answer to Woodstock. But peace and love quickly turned to chaos. The Hells Angels, hired as security, beat fans, and during Sympathy for the Devil, violence erupted. A young man, Meredith Hunter, was stabbed to death. The cameras caught it all. Suddenly, the Stones weren't just rock stars, they were messengers of death. The Pact theory grew teeth. Journalists, critics, and parents blamed the band for bringing evil into the mainstream. The irony? Jagger had originally planned Sympathy as a folk song, but once it became samba, once he whispered, "Pleased to meet you," it felt like possession. Yet the Stones thrived. Their scandals never destroyed them. Drugs, arrests, even death itself, they survived it all. Brian Jones drowned in his swimming pool in 1969. Rumors said he was the first sacrifice of the bargain. Later, tragedy stalked the band again. Overdoses, car crashes, even the infamous arrest of Richards in Canada, with heroin in his blood and a teenage girl in his hotel room. Still, the Stones carried on. By the 1970s, the Pact with the Devil had transformed into branding. The band leaned into it. The tongue and lips logo, designed by John Pash, resembled Kali, the Hindu goddess of destruction. But for fans, it became the mark of sin. They played the role of outlaws, feeding the myth while cashing in millions. But ask yourself, how could a band that lived so dangerously, partied so relentlessly, and angered so many institutions still be standing today? Mick Jagger is now knighted. Keith Richards, who should have died 100 times, still plays with a grin that says he knows something we don't. Maybe the joke is on us. The Rolling Stones didn't need a literal contract in blood. They understood something better. Scandal cells. Death, danger, and the devil were just instruments in their symphony of survival. And yet, when you watch footage of Jagger prowling the stage when Richard strikes a riff that feels eternal, you can't help but wonder, did they outsmart the devil, or did they become him?